Imagine this. What if our idea of God changed over time? From Abraham to Einstein, through wars and empires, people saw God in different ways. In A History of God, Karen Armstrong explores how Judaism, Christianity, and Islam shaped and reshaped God. It's not a Sunday school tale. It's a powerful story of human belief across 4,000 years, from tribal God to universal power. Imagine a time when every city had its own God, jealous, loving, and flawed like humans. Then something changed. Abraham chose one God above all others. Over centuries, that God, Yahweh, became more than just a tribal protector. He became the God, invisible, powerful, and just. This shift from many gods to one changed history, faith, and how millions see the world today. God and the birth of Scripture. Imagine reading the Bible and finding not one voice, but many. Karen Armstrong shows how ideas about God slowly changed. In early stories, God walks, talks, and even argues with people. But later, during hard times like exile, he becomes more mysterious, still caring, but distant. Then Jesus arrives, at first just a teacher. But over time, his followers call him God's Son. New words appear like Logos and Trinity. These ideas didn't just appear. Thinkers like Paul and Augustine shaped them, using Greek philosophy. Armstrong explains, religion isn't frozen. It grows, shifts, and responds to history. That's the real story. How humans reimagined God again and again. The rise of Islam. In the 7th century, Islam was born in the deserts of Arabia. Muhammad, a traitor turned prophet, preached the message of Tawhid, the absolute oneness of God. Unlike Christianity's complex trinity, Islam rejected all partners or divisions in God. Armstrong highlights the beauty of Islamic theology, especially during its golden age. Thinkers like Al-Ghazali and Averroes explored God through philosophy, reason, and mysticism. Islam didn't see science or faith as enemies. God and philosophy. One of Armstrong's boldest points is that people started turning God into a concept rather than a mystery. Greek philosophers like Plato and Aristotle heavily influenced Jewish, Christian, and Muslim theologians. God became the first cause, the unmoved mover, or perfect being. But here's the problem. This made God less personal, less loving. Armstrong argues that trying to explain God through logic often robbed the divine of its mystery and emotional power. Doubt, science, and the crisis of God. By the 18th and 19th centuries, science and reason had shaken the old religious foundations. Newton explained the universe with laws, Darwin introduced evolution, and Freud explained behavior with psychology, not sin or divine will. Many people began to ask, do we still need God? Armstrong doesn't dismiss science. Instead, she shows how some believers adapted. Einstein, for example, believed in Spinoza's God, not a personal deity, but the awe-inspiring order of nature. Others, like Nietzsche, declared God dead, not out of hate, but out of sadness that the old image of God no longer worked. A new way to think about God? In her final chapters, Armstrong suggests something powerful. Maybe we've been asking the wrong questions. Instead of asking, does God exist like a chair exists? We should ask, what does the idea of God do for us? For mystics and poets across all religions, God was never just a being, but a way of life, a practice, a compass for compassion. As Rumi once said, you were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? Armstrong's core message? God is a human idea, and it changes as we change. That doesn't make it false, it makes it real, powerful, and worth wrestling with. Why this book still matters. A History of God isn't just about religion. It's about human imagination, fear, hope, and love. It's not an easy read, but it's a rewarding one. Because the story of God, as Armstrong shows, is also the story of us. If you've ever asked, why do people believe in God? Or, how did belief change over time? Karen Armstrong's A History of God is a must-read. Not because it gives all the answers, but because it asks the right questions. Happy you liked it. Please subscribe. Your support truly matters. Thank you.